Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit on the tanker through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly...
So there I was, routine approach at night, somewhere between 100 feet and 50 feet before touchdown. I froze. No, I didn't freeze. The simulator froze, and the instructor says to me, you see an issue here? That I don't. He says, look carefully. Looked forward. I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing it. So he changed the conditions from nighttime to daylight, and there it was, bigger and shit. An airplane sitting in position.
Oh, geez.
Ready for takeoff. And
we'll
talk more about that in a second. Terrifying. My blood ran cold, and it was a simulator.
Yeah. Well, and you know, to add to that, just so there's a little detail, the simulator visibility, the simulators are so you're there.
Yeah,
I mean, it
they
feels
really are.
like you're there. The visuals are so dynamic now.
The blood pressure comes up, the heart starts pumping, the palms start sweating. Yeah, it's real. There's
a lot to unpack there, and I can't wait to unpack that.
Yeah, there really is. Which was, I thought, important this week. A good story to relate into it, obviously, because of the LaGuardia crash, and we lost two of our brethren in that crash, and that was so hard to watch. And we know very little about it. We know some about it, obviously, from what's been out there. Of course, the keyboard commandos are out there. They've got it solved, which is always frustrating to watch. But a couple of things I've gotten questions about, and I'm sure you've gotten questions from friends too. One is, how did this happen? And obviously, layers of protection broke down. It wasn't any one thing that failed, but a number of things that came together to line that Swiss cheese up, right?
Swiss cheese model, right? Just lined up just right, and there was a hole all the way through. It's so rare, and that's what has to happen. Because like you said, there's so many chinks that it has to go through. There's so many layers.
From distractions in the tower cab, there was another airplane on the field with an emergency that had some of the controllers' attention. It was night. My understanding is maybe they had just come on shift, but again, going back to my story, there are lights everywhere at night, and I've got the runway lights lined up at that point, but I'm just not seeing the airplane. And in fairness, that airplane was not lit up. It had its strobe lights on and its navigation lights on, but trying to pick out one white tail light in the mix of all the white runway lights, center line, tough to do. And I think the same thing is probably true in that tower cab. There are lights everywhere, and trying to deal with distractions and who's been cleared and who hasn't been cleared. And at one point he even asked, what frequency are you on? Are you on ground or tower? Who's asking me to cross, and which frequency are you on? So,
hey, I got a couple questions to fire at you. Under that scenario that you described, was it, so obviously it was nighttime, yes?
Yep.
And was it, was it raining? Was everything shiny? Like you know what I mean? That adds to the confusion too.
Yeah. So my recollection is we had done an ILS, and again, this is probably 15 years ago or more, but we had done an ILS and broken out probably right at minimums. And so we had 200 feet to look at the runway before landing.
Which isn't much. You're 3/4 of a mile, maybe, really, probably half a mile.
At 140, 145 knots, Yeah. It's so my recollection was, I don't know if that it was rainy or not, but it certainly was a short time to look and a short time to get there, and just did not see it. man, let me tell you, after that, well, let me go back to my days in the DC-10. I would, as an engineer, as a flight engineer, I played the old LSO, LSS game, and I would put my hand on top of my head in the engineer seat when there was a foul runway. If someone was on the runway, either in a vehicle or a aircraft out in front of us, even though we'd been cleared to land, I'd put my hand up on top of my head to say, hey, foul deck. And I would tell the pilots, clear deck as soon as that traffic cleared, or at, below 500 feet, I'd call foul deck, go around. Foul what deck? What are you saying? Go, oh, you Air Force guys. Yeah, there's someone on the runway. Go around.
That's a great technique.
But yeah,
yeah,
can't
that's
do
a great
it
technique
in the pilot monitoring seat as you could in the engineer seat because you didn't have any controls. But even then, there's spring loaded to look.
I have a similar technique when we're not cleared to land. I won't turn on the taxi light if I'm in the left seat, or I won't turn on the the wheel well lights in the right seat, just as a trigger. And then if there's and they don't normally clear you to land until there's traffic off the runway. So that's
like 30 minutes out. You get the announcement in the cabin all the time. Oh, we've been cleared to land. Put your seat backs and trade tables.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that works great.
Yeah, you're still talking to center.
No, you're not.
That's your bullshit.
We're not clear to land, you bozos. Yeah, they're not.
You're not even talking to approach yet.
Yeah.
So
we're on an active taxiway. Well, guess what? They're all active. We're on an come on. All right. Well, okay. So back to where I was going with that nighttime rain. For our listeners that aren't pilots, but obviously drive cars, and everything's different at night. Number one, everything looks different at night, and then add in a shiny road from rain. When the streets are wet and shiny,
lights reflecting off the road.
Right.
Lights
reflecting
off.
And shit even looks more different. So factor that flying into a place that maybe you've never been, or only been in the daytime, or maybe haven't landed on this particular runway before.
Yeah.
And
that's a varsity airport. No two ways about it. It just is.
LaGuardia. Oh shit. Yeah. And let's unpack that a little bit when we finish this. But then you factor in, you're not going to see, especially on a low ceiling approach, you're going to break out. And if you're hand flying, so you break out, at, 100 feet, and maybe have 15 or 20 seconds to go, yep, I'm lined up. This looks good. We're going to be in the touchdown zone.
Make a safe landing. Yeah,
we're going to do it. Or nope, this isn't good. We need to go around. Not a lot of time. Maybe even less than that. Maybe 10 seconds. Right. Yeah. And so then you get all the cultural lighting all of a sudden, because you didn't see it before. Shiny pavement, and it's easy to miss.
Right.
A couple lights sitting on the runway. Holy shit! Totally.
And my recollection on this is there. The truck one was on ground frequency, right? Not tower.
So,
or do you know? I don't know.
So now,
the only reason I'm asking that is I think it matters because Jazz didn't have an opportunity to hear them request. Now they certainly would have heard tower if it was one controller working ground and tower. They certainly would have heard the clearance to cross.
Yeah.
But normally, we don't even know that was the case.
No, but as a standard. Normally, ground control doesn't clear anybody to cross a runway. It has to be a tower frequency.
Tower controller clear. And ground may clear you across, but only after talking to tower. A local controller is what it's called. Local.
Yeah. So I don't know the details.
Runway. Yeah.
I've seen the YouTube, and I've listened to a couple different ATC tapes. There's different voices. And, it's first of all, it's just horrific to watch. Because, it's horrific. You know what happens, and you see it happening, and you go, it's like, oh God, that's horrible. And those guys, by the time they did see that truck out in front of them, there was literally nothing they could do.
It was dead men riding.
Yeah.
They were dead men riding at that point. Yeah. And I mean, there was someone asked about changing control of the aircraft 2 seconds after touchdown. I get it. The captain saw it and said, I've got it. And, was already standing on the brakes. And I'm willing to bet a month's salary that the first officer didn't let off the brakes either.
No.
They were both braking for their lives.
And so all modern aircraft have anti-skid brakes, anti-lock brakes, whatever you want to call them. And so, I'm sure they were both, standing on the brakes, which the brakes were doing the best they could. But remember, it was wet. Yep. And, you lose a little braking effectiveness on a wet runway.
Yeah. And taxiway D, Delta, is looks to me about a third of the way down the runway. So
I don't have my iPad.
They would have been.
I could pull that up.
Really, yeah. They would have still been really moving along no matter what. I mean, 8 seconds after touchdown.
Yeah.
Is impact. Let's assume they touch down
130.
Really slow. Let's say 110 knots. 8 seconds later.
Yeah, they're probably still doing 60, 70 knots.
60, 70 knots, yeah. Times 1.15 would give you miles per hour. So 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was horrific. One of the podcasters that does the, he's Captain Jim or whatever, it's somebody like that. I saw a clip and he said, well, somebody said they were doing about 25 or 30 knots. And I saw the video. I'm like, bullshit. They were going a lot faster than that. Because when something when something big looks like it's going fast, it's going fast.
Yeah, it is.
So it was.
Yeah, it is. And
it was nice.
And then a couple other things that come to mind on that are, the runway. What do they call it? The runway alerting. Hang on,
runway alert. RAS, runway alert and advisory system.
Well, there's runway status lights. Yeah, so there's the ASD, which is the airport surface detection system, which relies on a transponder in the truck, which truck one did not have. It says.
Yeah.
So that wasn't helpful. But there's also runway status lights, which turn red and green, which in theory, even if truck one was clear to cross, if runway status lights were working, those lights should have been red, in which case truck one should have said, I got red lights in front of me. Are you sure I'm cleared to cross? But, we don't know. That's how it should have worked, assuming those lights were there. I don't know if those lights were there or not, but that's the modern system. And it's actually pretty amazing. The first time I ever saw them working, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like first time I ever noticed them was at Logan. We were going to take off on like runway 9 and had an airplane landing on 4, and we were cleared into position and hold and line up, and there's a bunch of red lights in front of us. And we weren't going anywhere anyway, but it wasn't until the aircraft crossed in front of us on runway 4 landing that our red lights went out, and then we got our clearance to go. It's like, that's slick.
Yeah, I like those lights. Hey, Scott's asking if we know what the ATC staffing was at, and I think they were. I don't know that they released that. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that. I don't know. I mean, you have to. We can't make any assumptions, but we all know that ATC staffing is tough right now. Nationwide, we've had air traffic controllers on, and they talk about it. It's in rough shape. They are hundreds of controllers short, I think they said. And just get hired and start controlling airplanes next week. So, especially not at LaGuardia, at Kennedy, at DC.
Those are varsity. Those are varsity airports. It's in a high living area, so it's not a popular place for people to move if they're moving from a low cost of living area. It's tough. It's a tough market for them. Absolutely.
So we get Dizzy and Scotty. Scotty's a professional pilot, so he said he heard from. Oh, Dizzy said he heard from 2 in the cab. So and working multiple frequencies. That was my question about that. Was he on ground? Was he on tower?
Right.
They should have heard the truck clear to cross, but they would have not heard the request to cross. Jazz, I'm talking about the airplane pilots, and Jazz should have heard a clearance to cross the runway in front of them. But man,
you would have think on short final, you hear somebody, "Hey, you're clear to cross." We're like, "Whoa, hey, we're landing.
Yeah.
Everybody slow down.
Yeah. And
I have a so there I was story.
All right.
You triggered it, actually. You triggered it when you told yours in the opening, and I wrote it down real quick so I wouldn't forget it. I'll tell it if you want.
Yeah, man.
It's along the same lines as this. It happened in Afghanistan. And the night before the incident happened, I landed at this little airfield that, of course, we're flying at night. We're on night vision goggles, NVGs. And it was a very bright night, big moon, a lot of illumination. We're flying in there. It's uncontrolled. We're flying in there. I could see the runway. I could see everything perfectly. They didn't have the IR lights on. And infrared lights, when you're looking through goggles, look like normal lights. The light would be lit like the Battlestar Galactica, but it wasn't. And so, co-pilot called the guy that's not the tower, but the airfield, Unicom guy, and said, "Hey, can you turn the lights on?" And the guy says, "Yeah, it's going to take a while. I got to get a kid on a 4-wheeler. He's got to go fill up the generator." And we're like, I tell him, "Fuck it, we're good. We're going to land." Right. So we land. And so this FOB, forward operating base, had a long runway. It was like 7,000 feet, which was long for Afghanistan, and it was paved. It was one of the new ones we paved.
Okay.
Yeah. And across the field from the FOB, so the runway, it's a north-south oriented on the east side. On the other side of the FOB, they had a little 1,500-foot gravel dirt strip and that's where all the helicopters were sitting on a ramp just to the side of that 1,500-foot strip. And it was an Army FOB. They were operating out of there. So I had to tell you that because the very next night we had a C-130 crew go in there, same scenario, but it wasn't a big illumination night. So, and so they could see it, but they asked for the runway lights, and the guy says, "Yeah, it's going to be a minute. The guy's got to get on the 4-wheeler and the gas, the whole day." Yeah, and so they go, "Okay, fire it up." And what they think they see is the lights of the runway. But what they are actually seeing is the lights of the FOB and the lights on the 1,500-foot runway. Okay?
Ooh.
So they line up to land on the 1,500-foot runway. And what
I've seen Fat Albert do it.
Yeah. What they don't know is there were 3 CH-47s full of paratroopers turning. Right at the edge of the runway, and a couple of UH-60s also full. They were getting ready to conduct a night raid. These guys touched down on that 1,500-foot strip. The wing of the C-130 went over the top of all the rotors sitting on the side of the runway. As soon as they touched down, the pilots realized, "Oh fuck, this is not the right runway," and they went around. In the process of going around, they barely got airborne and ripped. There was a big 6-foot, fence at the other end, kind of the FOB perimeter, and one of the posts ripped through the bottom of the C-130 and actually ripped through a pressure bulkhead in the belly towards the aft.
Oh,
and they made it back. They made it back to Bagram, and then we all got to look at it the next day. And then I flew the accident investigation team the following day out there to this FOB. And so that's how I kind of knew a lot of the details about it. But what happened is they rolled in. They are seeing what they want to see, right? They got it all figured out. But really, the navigator had built an approach to the big runway, and it was showing everything off to the right. And the navigator's trying to say, "Hey, boys, you're not lined up on the runway." And they're like, "Shut up. Shut the fuck up. We got it. We see it right here. You're done, Nav. Shut up."
Yeah.
And anyway, it would have had they hit those helicopters, which they were so close, it would have been the largest loss of life in one event in the whole war, because it was 3 47s full of Army guys, a couple of UH-60s, and in the C-130 had 60 paratroopers in the back. It would have been massive. It would have been mass casualty event.
That's horrific just to think about. Holy shiza.
But it was at night, and cultural lighting. They thought they saw what they wanted to see. They were convinced. They had convinced themselves, of what they were seeing.
Yep.
And then there you go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And then in the comments, we've got a bunch of folks in here today, which is outstanding. Weiser jumps in. He says he instructs at a UK airport recently after he was cleared for a touch and go with a student. A trainee controller cleared another light aircraft to line up on the runway in front of him. So he started the go around, called it on the radio, and the supervising controller sorted it out as I completed the go around. I doubt the trainee will do that again. Yeah, fortunately, that's a hard lesson to learn, but I bet you're right. I bet it was learned completely and fully. And you can always tell when there's the supervising controller steps in. A real quick, so there I was for me, and this one wasn't dangerous, but it was funny. We were taking off from Los Angeles one morning, and we were going to take off on runway 25 right. So this is still in the days of Jepson paper charts, and I had
You said morning. You're saying morning. Are we talking wee hours when it's dark?
No, daytime, like 7 a.m. local, something like that. Yeah, so it's bright daylight. But get out there and we get cleared in position, hold 25 right at Foxtrot. Okay, we line up, sitting there, and we're all set. Our clearance is there. We've got our squawk, and we're going to take off on like the Loop 9. I think it was what it was. And we've got the chart right there in front of me. And tower controller comes up and says, DC-10, clear for takeoff. Windsor this, clear for takeoff runway 25 right, change from the Loop 9 to the LAX 7 departure. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we haven't got that in the computer. And I'm just sitting there. And of course, there's this huge question mark over our jet.
Oh, yeah.
Down there on the end of the runway. And another voice comes on about 3 seconds later and goes, yeah, take your time there, DC-10. The LAX 7 is actually on the back of the Loop 9 departure. If you just want to flip that page over, it'll be there. And your only difference is, you're going to turn it at 3 miles instead of 5 miles down to the next view. And like, oh, okay, yeah, good to go. So, but yeah, you can't just change. And so clearly it was a controller who was under training who was like, you can't do that to pilots when they're on the runway. Give them a takeoff. So, oh well,
that's a small detail. It's a small thing, right?
Yeah, I was like, I have no idea what this, where this is. It was funny that the controller knew. No, it's right on the back page of that one you're looking at. So, like, all right, well, and he was right. It was. Flip the page over. There it is. Oh, we can do that. Go. So, but yeah, that's a massive. And fortunately, it was DC-10 where we had 2 clocks and a VOR. No INS computers or any of that stuff to program.
It was real flying. That's an emergency.
Stick and rudder, baby. Stick and rudder. So anyway, that's terrifying that 130 almost hit those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anyone ever sort out that maybe they ought to have the IR lights available?
Well, in a very small paragraph at the bottom of one of the many Air Force publications that you're required to know every word of, it does say thou shalt not land at night on NVGs without IR lights.
Oh, okay. So it would have hung the pilots right out that they violated. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they thought they saw it. That was the thing. They thought the lights got turned on, and they were like, "Yep, there it is." The navigator had built a self-contained approach to the real runway, and he was going, hey, you guys are lined up on something. I don't know what you guys are looking at, and they shut him down. So there was this lot of there was a CRM, cockpit resource management difficulty going on there, and then they had convinced themselves what they were seeing was what they wanted to see, and they weren't listening to anybody anymore because they got what they want. And next thing you know, Bob's your uncle. You about to take out 200 dudes, and you run your airplane and run your day life. And but hey, everything came out okay. By the way, the airplane did fly again eventually.
You mentioned CRM. What does that stand for?
Well, cockpit resource management. Yeah. It's the mental part of how you communicate with your crew. So everybody has a shared mental model of what's going on, what you intend to do, what your plan is. Right. So there's no surprise.
Yeah.
And 80% of all accidents and incidents can be tied back to a lack or a mistake making in CRM.
Yeah. It's sad but true. And in fact, I recall the one fatal 747 crash for Flying Tigers back in the early 90s. I think there was a language barrier, and it was like cleared level. And of course, over here, flight levels are 180 and above, 18,000 feet and above. And various countries you go to, flight levels can be, as low as 2,000 feet. And I think they said clear. It doesn't matter specifically what they said, but it was something like, cleared to 240 or, 2,400. And they read it back as cleared to 400. And the flight engineer actually said, "I'm uncomfortable with this. I think we're too low." To which the captain replied, "No, I think we're good here. If you get uncomfortable, just say something and we'll go around."
He already did, right?
Just did. And
he just did.
Yeah. And sadly, a few minutes later, they were dead. They hit the side of a hill. So CRM is we're learning to actually listen to the other guys on the flight deck. They might have a better picture than we do.
Right.
Even though, the captain is the one in charge and the ultimate authority and responsibility. I learned early on to, let those guys speak up and listen to what they had to say. It wasn't their first day on the job, likely.
Right. Tenerife.
Yeah.
The two 747s that collided. That's the biggest mass casualty event in airline history. It was all CRM related. I
don't think we were cleared. No, we were good. Up come the throttles.
We are good to go. I don't.
Serious case of get home-itis. They were all worried about timing out and hotel rooms and all that. And that was horrific. Oh man, and then Cali, Columbia in the 90s. That was mode confusion, language barrier. You're right, Scotty. Lack of CRM, the whole thing. And had they gotten the speed, the go around or the climb, get the speed brakes in, and there was some guesstimates that they might have made it had they gotten the speed brakes in. They were starting to climb out with the boards out. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, Cap. Yeah, that's rough. That's another one that's totally.
That became part of our go around and wind shear escape maneuver and all that to check the speed brakes right after that.
Max thrust, stow speed brakes. Max thrust, stow speed brakes. That's I think we all have.
Yeah,
configured
a lesson written in blood. You know, they often say those are manuals are all written in blood, and that's one of them there. So
rough. That's rough.
Oh man, happy topics today, Fig. Holy.
Well, let's lighten it up a little bit. What do you say? What do you say?
Right.
Come on.
Well, I got a happy topic. I was down in Houston last week for the went to see the rodeo and got to see Lainey Wilson in concert. That was a fun show. She actually rode off at the end of the show, rode off the stage on her own horse.
Hey,
don't see performers ride away on their own horse very often, but when you're performing at the rodeo, I guess you'd get to do that. What does that have to do with the aviation? Well, 2 days later, I was at the airport. And
you got some airport appreciation time, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And having been a known crew member for years and years, and wisely, they let you bypass security with known crew member because, occasionally you get randomized and you have to go through security anyway. But why waste time, energy, and all that looking at the pilots who could take the airplane down in their underwear to see if they have extra long blades on their nail clippers or, what have you. But I digress. I got to spend 4 hours, 15 minutes in a line waiting to get to TSA security. I wound up missing 2 flights. Fortunately, my wife is a travel agent and very good at quickly rebooking so that when I got up there, I didn't have an expired, your flight left 20 minutes ago. No security for you. So she had me with a current boarding pass / seat request. But man, let me tell you, with my current medical condition, standing in line for 4 hours plus was undoable at best and miserable. Just so I don't know. Have you had any passengers? Have you dealt with any passengers that have come through any of that yet? Or
So I have been blessed enough not to have had to operate a flight since February. So it's March, odd month. I give check rides in sim.
Yeah.
I haven't had any issues, but so this month, this month coming up is a flying month for me. So I'll let you know how it goes. Hopefully we're going to square this shit away here soon, because this is getting untenable. And I don't know how.
I'm surprised there haven't been more incidents with short tempers and everything else. Everyone was really good about it in line, and it was miserable.
That sucks.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. Lady in front of me little boy appeared to be about 4 or 5 years old, and it snaked back and forth so much. I'm like, and I tried to tell her, go sit down over there. And when the line gets over there, I'll pull you back in line, but you guys can have a few minutes off your feet. But her English wasn't good enough and my Spanish wasn't good enough to properly communicate that. So she'd let him sit down. He'd get 4 or 5 minutes of sitting down at the end of a loop and such, but it was horrible. And there were a lot of elderly people there, and a lot of people, I don't know how they did it. So some people in that line, I have no idea how they managed to do it that long. Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. Go take a bathroom break, go to the end of the line. Yeah. Unless you got somebody kind enough to go, hey, you can get back in. So
Scotty's saying SWA is going to hire 1,000 pilots this year and upgrade 700. So if any of our listeners out there are waffling on whether or not to apply, he says, get your applications in.
Great. Hey, man, I could do that. No, I'm a geezer. I'm afraid my time's done. But yeah, that's fantastic news. And in fact, the young gent, I'm not going to say his name at this point because I haven't got permission to, and I can't remember a call sign for him, but helped my daughter get hired by the Air National Guard, going through interviews and all that stuff. He just got picked up by American. So airlines are actually hiring. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we need to get our air traffic controllers trained up, right? That's part of the system as well.
Yeah, let's get that fixed. That's terrifying that was, that's getting there. So, hey, you know what? I'll give you a second to think of a story. Well, I want to take a minute to thank Derek. I think I do. There
DCartworks.com?
DC Artworks, yeah. So there I was, not planning to buy anything, just taking a look. Yeah, that lasted about 60 seconds on DCartworks.net, because here's what happens. You go there thinking you'll casually browse, and then your brain immediately starts designing something. What if I did my call sign or squadron logo or something for the hangar or the fighter bar downstairs? And now you're in it. Well, that's exactly what Derek is built for. DC Artworks is American-made, veteran-owned, and Derek specializes in turning your half-formed idea into something you didn't even realize was possible. This isn't picking from a catalog. This is, hey, Derek, here's what I'm thinking, and then watching it come to life. Everything starts with CNC cut hardened steel, so it's precise, clean, and strong, and then it's hand finished, which is why every single piece has its own personality. No flimsy metal, no cheap feel. These are pieces you hang once and then never replace them. And here's the kicker. 95% of what he builds is custom. That means the real product is your idea. The design library on DCArtworks.net is constantly updated. And yeah, you'll see stuff that looks awesome, but the real move, don't just browse. Reach out. Start the conversation. That's where this gets fun. I've got a set of naval aviator wings about 2 feet across, and they are ridiculous in the best way. People stop mid-conversation when they see them. That's what happens when something is actually built and not mass-produced. He also does powder coating and multi-material engraving, so you can get color, contrast, and depth that turns a simple idea into something people notice immediately. He's a military GPC vendor, offers bulk and repeat discounts, and is one of the lowest priced guys doing this work at this level. And for you, our listeners, go to dcartworks.net, use code STIW, Sierra Tango, India Whiskey, and get 20% off every order. Forever. Even if something else is on sale. But seriously, don't overthink it. Go to dcartworks.net, spend a minute looking, and then message Derek and say, here's my idea. That's where the magic starts. And thanks to dcartworks.net for sponsoring this episode. All right.
Thanks, Derek.
Yeah, man. Cool stuff. We had him on last week's show, in fact, 204. I don't think we covered it in there, but he is the senior enlisted flight engineer in the Air National Guard Bureau in the United States. So he knows his stuff.
He's getting some shit done over there.
Yeah, he is. Helping out good folks. So, man, what else? So you've been given check rides in the simulator, man. How many unsats? I know you're a hard ass in there. You ever given unsat?
Yes. And you know, it's not because I didn't like them. I thought this crew they were nice people. They just they didn't meet the standard, you know, and the standard is the standard. Right. So they just need a little extra training, and they got through it eventually.
Right.
Not with me, with somebody else. And then, you know, every once in a while, somebody does something really, really stupid.
Boneheaded.
Yeah. And then that's out of my hands. You know, it's completely out of my hands when somebody does something really stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that's why there were two pilots. Isn't one pilot there to keep the other one from doing something really stupid?
Well, we hope
they just talk him into it.
Well, so the problem is when one pilot does something really stupid and the other pilot is unaware that this is going to happen, there's the problem, right?
Yeah.
That's a complete breakdown in what we were already talking about. Shared
right.
mental model.
Now, here's the thing, though, in my humble opinion, that's super rare, one. Yeah, even more rare out on the line than it is in the simulator, because the simulator is designed to con guys into doing stupid shit. So they learn something, right?
Right.
So.
No, that's spot on. That's absolutely right. And the events like that have personally happened to me, you know, when I've been evaluating a crew, has been rare, extremely rare. The majority of time, and I mean 95% of the time, I'm always impressed at how good we really are as professionals. You know, you come together, you've never seen each other before. You come together, you sit down in a little cockpit or big cockpit, whatever, and everybody knows their job.
The first time you met is literally an hour before pushback.
Yeah. You know your job. You know what they're supposed to do. You know what you're supposed to do. You know how the checklist goes. You procedurally, you know what's supposed to happen. It's impressive. When it breaks down, when it does break down, and it will, when you get out of sequence, when something goes off script, that's when it's really important to be good at CRM, so you can catch those errors and get back on script, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, and even then, those errors aren't. So I'm just trying to put the public's mind at ease. Even then, those errors aren't necessarily going to lead to a fatal accident or something like that. For instance, I remember being in a simulator one time, and here's one that's terrifying, and I'm sure you guys do it too. But it's unreliable airspeed indicator. And once you realize that someone's airspeed ain't quite right, and then you start troubleshooting it and all that stuff, and just follow the damn checklist. But I was smarter than the checklist in the airplane. And so I wound up like overspeeding the flaps. It's like, okay, where did you deviate from the checklist? Well, here. Okay. And now do you see why that probably wasn't a good idea? Uh-huh. So now, don't go guessing. Follow the checklist and you'll be fine. Yeah, lesson learned. I mean, that was pretty stupid. But would that have led to a fatal? No. It would have, in theory, led to a maintenance inspection on the airplane. Fortunately, it was in the simulator, and it was like, okay, don't do that again. But lesson learned. But yeah, but was that a mistake? Yeah. And I'm sure the instructor's just sitting there going, man, this is like the fourth time I've seen that this week.
Right.
So, well, tell me how your check rides go, being as you are the instructor that gives them. So you probably have to have a standards check airman to give your check rides. And they probably go pretty smoothly because you know all the scenarios that they're going to throw at you.
Well, so the way we do it is we conduct our checks on the next year's profile.
So you haven't given them yet.
We give them to each other, but when it's in the development stage,
Right.
So the scenario is a city pair. You go from Chicago to Newark, and then all these non-normal things, off-script things are going to happen, so that we can assess crew's ability to navigate through all these different distractions. It's basically, how is their CRM? We know they can fly an airplane. And so we test those, and then we tweak them as we go through our own checks and training. So that's the loft phase, the line-oriented flight training loft. The day before is when we get recertified on all the maneuvers, right? The single engine maneuvers, go around, the single engine approach, all that stuff. Yeah, so that's like we get evaluated on that like every pilot does. The only difference is when we do the loft, for the loft phase, the evaluators, the standards guys, are the ones that test it and then refine it, because some of the scenarios our subject matter experts come up with are completely off the chart. And a line crew would come in and vapor lock, and they'd say, no, we're going to divert right now. And we're like, no, we don't want. We wanted this to go. So that's kind of how we do it.
Right. Yeah. You game in the system to find out. Well, and I imagine probably after 3 or 4 crews do it, they go, okay, that isn't going to work. So we need to refine the scenario that we give folks here. So what are you doing, man? You're trying to rip your microphone off the wall there. It looks like that.
I got a lot of shit going on here. All right. Yeah, well, I'm back.
So it's gone for a while now.
Always something. I'm back.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got Quantico coming up next month. We're going to go down to the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation.
I'm looking forward to that
dinner. Yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that myself. In fact, we may, especially if this TSA stuff isn't figured out, I'll probably fly down in my Tiger. I'm done with getting stranded at airports where I'm going to have to wait forever just to get on an airplane.
No, that's no bueno. Yeah. Listen, we're a month out from that, or a little less than a month out. I have a high level of confidence that this shit's going to be ironed out by then. Oh man,
well, I probably hope, because
I probably just put the nail in. I put the nail in the coffin, didn't I?
Right. Nicely done. Yeah, it's done.
Sorry about that. Yeah, and so then the 25th is the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation black tie event, and hopefully we will get a story or two from that, and maybe line up some talent to come on and tell stories.
Absolutely, I'm thinking we will.
And then a month after that, holy shit, here comes the sundown week. That's going to be a big week.
Last Harriers to go. So yeah, that's going to be very bittersweet. It's going to be fun to get down there and see a bunch of old faces and watch the Harrier fly one last time. But oh man, it's hard to believe it's going away.
We floated this idea, and I thought it had some traction, and then it kind of it seems like it might have got dropped in a crack. But we at one point said we might have open night, open mic, so to speak.
So I'll get back with 223 guys. We need to try and do that. Yeah, they're going to get the VMA 223 pilots to have a virtual happy hour on Zoom with us.
There is a. So I've been in contact with one of them quite a bit lately, and I asked them what squadron life's like right now, and they have a det out. They have a det down in the Caribbean right now. They won't let them come home because they want them there, and so there's literally 7 pilots at the squadron.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty quiet.
Wow. Yeah.
So we might be able to get 2 or 3 of them on.
That'd be
for
good.
a happy hour,
which would
be perfect. Talk about real time, talk about life in the last Harrier squadron. As it's winding down, what it's like, what your plans are, what's going to look like for the squadron, so on and so forth.
I was still shocked, though. I got to go back to when we were there. Gosh, I guess it was 2 years ago now when we were there for the 231 demo, last level 3 demo.
Yes.
That I think they call it a heritage room, but that there's a bar in the squadrons now.
What the hell? Who?
That was so verboten when we were there.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. Now I think they've done it probably because the officer club system is kaput.
Yeah. It went to shit. Right? Yeah. The dirty shames no more. And
I think the club's an all hands club now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I know it's not the quaint little dirty shame type bar, which we all knew and loved.
Right. The worst part of it being all hands is I know the troopers didn't want the staff NCOs and the officers watching them, and staff NCOs didn't want officers and troopers watching them. And I mean, it's just not the best place to socialize. So that makes it tough. But, who am I? They didn't make me commandant, so I couldn't reverse that,
Well,
I'd fix that, damn it.
They made one of my TBS classmates commandant, but I don't think he gives 2 shits about the officers club at Cherry Point.
Right? I'm thinking you're right. Yeah.
What do I know? Maybe he does. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, he's going to be the military guest next month.
Well, I will ask him when I see him.
There you go. What are you going to do about this? Fix it.
Hey, what are we doing?
Do your job.
What the hell? Come on, General.
Do your damn job. Blows my mind that guys our seniority are all 4 stars or retired.
I know, it's crazy. It's and when we were lieutenants and captains, those senior officers look like somebody's grandfather. Who is this old guy? How can he pass a PT test, right?
Right, exactly.
And here we are.
That being said, and now I can't remember the name of the town. It was where the Audubon Society was formed over in Louisiana, west of the Mississippi. Anyway, a friend of mine had a cabin on a lake up there. And Shay, my wife, and I were driving up there. And guys pulled in a gas station. This guy's running by, and I go, "Coming down the Marine Corps." She's like, "Ah, bullshit." I go, "General Kelly."
PX Kelly?
Yeah, it was PX Kelly.
He was getting gas?
He was running by. He was PTing.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, that was his hometown. I can't think of the name of the hometown. Oh, yeah. It's wherever the Audubon Society was formed. It wasn't New Iberia. Somewhere else there, out in Louisiana. Yeah. General Kelly out home for a weekend and out for a run. And I'm going, "General Kelly, that you? How you doing?" "Lieutenant in the Marine Corps. Going to TBS next week."
That's awesome.
And then I met him 2 more times. I met him at my first Marine Corps ball 8 weeks later. And then in Hawk Missiles, I was down at LZ Bluebird for a CAX Combined Arms demo. And he came up when I was a platoon commander in Hawk Missiles. Neat guy. Fun to talk to. One of those guys who seemed like he actually gave a damn who you were and what you had to say. Now, I was a second lieutenant, platoon commander. He didn't much care, but he acted like he did.
Well, that's all right.
Right on. So,
that's all right.
So, man, we've been going at this close to an hour. I think we probably ought to land the airplane and let people get out of here this week. Yeah, man.
Let's land the plane. That was good. Good discussion. We I didn't know where exactly it was going to go, but it went somewhere.
Yeah.
Because as soon as there's an accident or an incident, all my non-aviation friends call, or when I see them, they go, "Hey, what do you think happened?" Because we're the experts, right? And I like you don't like to speculate. I like to stick with, hey, this is what we know, and I can honestly say, watching it is horrific, and I can only imagine what those pilots saw coming at the last second, and then they knew it was over.
They knew it was done. Yeah. And I got to tell you, so I did aviation safety for the union for years and all that. But that third course, there's 3 courses you go through for accident investigation with the Airline Pilots Association. And the last one, they're like, yeah, this is more what we call the hair, teeth, and eyeballs, walking through the crash site, picking up remains, that kind of stuff. And I said, I've done enough of that in my career. I'm not doing that anymore. I got people here that do that, and I'm not going to even bother going to that course. And I've also found that I just don't even watch. I had to force myself to go back and watch the LaGuardia one and the evaluation on that one and Louisville, Kentucky with UPS last fall.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy.
It's all I can do to watch those because I just don't even do it anymore. It's just not something that I want to see, need to see. It's heartbreaking, and I know a little bit about what they were going through, and yeah, it's hard to watch. So
it is.
Don't feel bad if you can't go watch it, folks. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Yeah. So, hey, for everybody out there on the front lines, and there's a crap ton of them, including I got a nephew out there in the Middle East now in the Persian Gulf with the Marines. Thank you for your service. Thank you for stepping up. Thanks for what you do, for signing your name on the bottom line there.
Blank check.
Are deeply grateful. Yeah, it is a blank check. And
they signed a blank check.
No one ever cashes it.
Right. And I think that's something that we, as a civilian population, lose sight of sometimes. When people are serving, they are literally writing a blank check to our country, payable with up to your life. And that's no small thing.
No, and the other people involved in that are the families who support that and may wind up greeting a flag draped casket. And that's a big sacrifice for them to put up with. So we're thankful for all of them who allow them to do it distraction free. Grateful for that. So go ahead, man.
What else? Hey, shout out to
Big Dave.
Backbeat Media. Dave Hamilton, my man Dave at Backbeat Media. He gives us the bandwidth, the knowledge, and he also is the coordinator of some of our advertisers that we get from time to time, which helps us keep the lights on.
Absolutely. And it looks like they're in the deal. I'll talk to you about offline. It looks like they're in the works for a deal that may come on for a while. So that would
awesome.
Be cool. So
yeah.
And to all the people who've lost all sense of financial responsibility, God bless you. So there I was.us/Patreon, where you give us your money for no apparent reason, but other than to keep these shows coming to you. And we're grateful you do that. If you are interested in helping support financially, we don't know why you would do that, but we're humbly grateful when you do. Go to sothereiwas.us/donate, and there are several ways to donate. Patreon, direct donation through donor box, and or Venmo, where we get a larger cut of what it is that you donate than through donor box or Patreon. But Venmo doesn't offer a regular, donate every month. So we're grateful to all of you as you do that.
We question your judgment. Seriously, your financial judgment, but we so much appreciate you.
Yeah, what is you, nuts?
Hey, we got a merch store. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, Repeat, but we have a merch store.
I heard
hoodies, hats, T-shirts, koozies, shot glasses, beer glasses, a bikini.
There you go.
That's right. It's beginning to begin the beginning of bikini season again in North America. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Make it so. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. So there I was, .us/merch.
That'll do it. Go get some cool stuff. These are the graphics on that. Our show logo, all designed by Styx. Fantastic.
Who knew that guy was so talented?
Right? Exactly. I don't think he knew. Just saying. So, could you go to sothereiwas.us/rate and give us 5 stars, please? Helps other people find the show, believe it or not. It really does. So any ratings you can give us. I haven't gone and checked on ratings in a long time, but I'm I'm assuming we're not getting many, or I wouldn't keep asking.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Hey, we're trainable. If you can't give us 5, tell us why. And if you can't give us 5, give it to somebody else. Give us some other podcast.
Right to Fig at sothereIwas.us and tell him why he's all screwed up and how to fix it.
Yeah. I need fixing.
So, didn't use any images today, but sometimes we use them from Badass, bdsaviationphotography.com. Guy's an artiste.
He is a true artist. Thanks, Badass.
Right. I don't know how he comes up with that stuff, but he does.
He's got an eye. He's got an eye for it. Apparently, he's got some big lenses because he gets some photos that are incredible. It's like he's.
I swear to God, you're looking at Pilot's acne as he's going by at 300 knots on departure.
Yeah, not a blur, nothing. It's really, really true art.
Exactly. So. Then, of course, Sticks and Bago aren't here because we sneaked this one in on them. Didn't tell them we were even going to do it. We decided at the last minute we had some time. We're going to bang this out and get this show to you this week. We don't know what we're doing for next week yet. We'll figure that out eventually, we hope. But so that's where we're at on that. I don't know. I feel like I'm hearing something in the background.
Oh, buddy. That's the 2 Air Force F-16 pilots that make the whole damn service sound good. That's the Dos Gringos.
Count them 2. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, they've been guests on our podcast. They have 4 amazing albums with music that will brighten your day. If you're having a bad day, listen to one of their songs because
you'll howl. You'll howl. It's great stuff. One last quick thank you again to Derek over at dcartworks.net for sponsoring this episode. I'm telling you, his stuff is amazing. You're going to get to see it up close and personal if you go to the Harrier Sundown the first week of June. He's making 9 4-foot steel squadron patches so that people will be able to go and get their photo taken by their old squadron patch. Full color, cut steel, hand finished.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really awesome.
Just amazing. Just amazing. I'm getting a bulldog patch done for my fighter barb, but I'm only getting it done in like 2 feet instead of 4 feet. And
that's okay. Well, 4 feet's bitty. That takes up a lot of wall space right there, buddy. You got to have a lot of wall space for a 4-footer. Yeah, 2 feet. That's doable. You can fit that in.
Right? Yeah. And it's going to get cool. I'm not doing the regular patch, the bulldog with the one that Walt Disney designed, the bulldog with the wings and the boxing gloves. I'm doing the one with the bulldog smoking a cigar.
That's right.
The great American bulldogs. So,
yep.
I
like that one.
All right. Any advice for anybody until next week, Fig?
Don't sit on the ejection seat handle.
Crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
Oh, hold on. What?
He said it's over.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
We're
out. That was from Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, man. You can't fight in here.
My president.
Of course, the whole point of having the doomsday machine is to tell the other side you have it.
I got to watch that again.
Peter Sellers. What a talent. So,
yep.